If you want to better understand what I will be doing on this lesson, you'll have to download this spreadsheet. The link is in the pinned comment, right? You can use this spreadsheet anytime, anywhere for free. Don't have to do any funny thing. Okay. Candlestick signals, right, are very important, especially when they are on specific areas of our charts. If you are a technical analyst, and if you trade synthetic indices mostly, I'd recommend that you stick around, right? So a candle will have 4 parameters. That is the open, the close, the high, and the low, right? Let me change the high right here. I know you cannot see it. Let's make it green. The high, this one will be our low. These are the 4 parameters that a candlestick or any candle is gonna have. And right here, I have uh, the numeric figures, zeros. Hey, I didn't know what to say. My brain went blank. That's why I was saying, just hit that like button before my brain goes blank again. So with these numeric figures that are gonna control what we're gonna see here, the candle shape, right? That's what our spreadsheet has. Right now, everything is set to 0. Okay, assuming that we haven't had any sort of a candle formation, right? So let's say a candle opens at 0, which will be here on our spreadsheet file, and then it goes up. Let's say it goes up, right? Let's say it goes up maybe to say 10. You can see now I have this wick, right? This wick, or what you call a shadow, which is this thin line. So before I correct how you would see a candle, this is not how you will see it if it was to open and go up. If it was to open and go up, right? What you most likely to see will be this, right? That's why I said download this spreadsheet so that you can understand this lesson nicely. This is what you will see if a candle was to open and instantly go up. It will be shaded in green to show that there is buyers in control. However, let me just go back to that one. However, this particular thin line, or what you call a wick in charting terms, right, tells us a story as well. That is why we have to start here. It tells us a story that price was there. It shows that price was here. It is not insignificant. When you see candles that have wicks, it doesn't mean that that part of the wick you ignore it, or this part of the thin line on your candle, this thin line, you don't ignore it. It's telling us that price was here. Do you remember when people were doing those graffitis and writing Vindi was here? Yes, same vibe. Price was once there, but it couldn't stay there. All right, something moved it, couldn't keep up. So if, say, we were to again put a 10 right here, let's say price was to push up to this particular level, but it doesn't stay there. Let's say it goes up below from where it opened. Let's say it goes to a lowest point, which will be, let's say, maybe -5, right? Right? So that will be our current. I'm going to show you that just now. That will be our current price. We have to change this in order to. Yes. So you can see it opened at 0, went up to 10. Okay. And then came down to -5. Let me explain why I put 5 here at close, right? Because it was at 10, but it changed. Let me remove that. Let me remove this, put it back. Because it was at 10, this is how it was before we had the low. Because it was here at 10, right? Before we could move down there. Because it was here at 10. In order for it to come to the negative, if it moves from 10 to -5, -5, which will be the low, right? At that point in time, -5, you can see there's nothing. It will also act as the current price if it was to close right there, right? That's why we need to update our what? Our close, because it's no longer what? At 10. Because now it moved to -5. If it was to close at that point in time, it will close at -5 at 10. So what we're most likely to see is the close and the current is the same. Let's go and do -5. This is what you would see. Does it make sense? If you play around with this spreadsheet, it will make much more sense. So let me just explain again what we are seeing right here. Here at 10, this is where price was. Remember what I said about this? Let's see if I can get an arrow thingy right here to quickly annotate it nicely. So if you look at this, maybe let's make the thickness a bit bigger. If you look at this part, remember what I said? It's telling us that price was once there. Remember that big green candle that we just saw? Remember it? Let's see if we can get it back. Remember this? Where is it? Where is it? Remember this one? Price was here, but it couldn't stay there. Okay? So we ended up having this. Okay? So because it was here, there is a trail. Those green guys were here, but they were not strong enough to be up there. If this thing was to close now, remember the current, if it was to close now, that's the current moment or the current price in this case. It will close in this form. And in this case, we also see that there is this red area. Remember this red area? It's basically nothing but, can you guess it? If you can guess using this, what is giving us, use this scale. We can see here there's a -5 and there's a 0. So what forms the body of the candle? It's a question. Just let me know. There's a 0 and a -5, which is this. What forms the body of the candle? If you don't know what the body of the candle, it's actually the shaded region of the candle. This will be the wick, right? And then this will be the body. What forms the body of the candle? I mean, from these 4 parameters, what will you say this and this gives us the body? Yes, the open and the close. If you look at this table that we have, okay, if you got it right, sharp, sharp. Open and the close, they give us the body. Hey, I wanted to give you a funny example, sharp. The day you were born, your body's there. And then the day you die, provided that you don't burn. Ne? What do we have? We still have the body. Does it make sense? The open, which is on your birthday. Eh? Date of birth. And then date of death. What do we have? We have the body. Aye. Comment down here if it makes sense. It should make sense. It should make sense. So always remember that the shaded region, it's formed by the date of birth, which is the open and the close. So this is that. So what it's telling us is, how did this thing end? How did this thing close? This one ended red, right? Meaning that it ended with sellers in control. Showing us that sellers closed that session. That's the end. You were born, then you died. And then we have, okay, this is how it died. That's the end. The end part, the body. Hey, let me stop talking about death. But that is death. Okay? So suppose this thing was to maybe the close was to be different. Let's say this candle was to go back to 2 before just it closed. Let's say it was to go to 2. You see, I have updated this as a current. If it was to change from the current that we had just now to the new price, which is 2, you can see now we are having another sort of a candle, right? Stick with me. We're going to be able to understand this candle on its own and a variation of other candles as well. Just stick with me. This lesson might be long. It might take, I don't know, it might probably take an hour for me to explain this thing nicely. Remember what the body is? Now this is green, right? Now this is green. So we know green, there's bias. Depending on how you have set your chart, you can play around with this. So we know that this session, if this was to close here at 2, it closed with bias. You can see this green. But does it mean that these bias are very strong? Nah. So the strength of where the buyers are or sellers are purely depends on, let me think of something very nice. This candle have this height. I'm going to use the height as to make it simple, right? Or what you will call a range. So this candle have this height. Let's call it H. How much of this height is the body? And where is the body? Mm, 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 mm. Stick with me. The body is how many bars? From 0 to here, it's 2. From 2 up to 10, right here, how much do you have? Do you have 8? We have 8 of this. But you can just, I'm just simplifying it. By just looking at it, you can see that this week, it forms more of the entire candle. So we have 8 here of the week, from 0 up to down here. To remember our -5, we have 5. Okay, I'm just calculating it in terms of height. So we don't have negative there. Or in terms of distance, we are not having a negative. That's why I'm doing this, right? So we're from 0 down to here. It's 5 for this. So we can clearly see that the 8 plus 5, which is what, 13. It's for this portion and this portion. And the body is only, so we'll say that the wick, yeah, it's 8 plus 5. Or let's call it maybe 13 pips. And then the body is just how much? It's just 2 pips. So you can see that the body, it's small compared to this. Yes, there are bias, which is this green, but they didn't close in a big ntonton. Does that mean that this signal is poor? It depends on where it is. Remember what I said? How big is the body? Where is the body in the candle? Before we talk about where is the candle on the entire chart, we need to look at the candle individually. Not on a chart where it is on your support or your supply and demand zones or support and resistance. We need to look at the specific characteristics of a candle, right? Let me reset this. Stick around. That's why I said this is going to be a very long lesson. Stick around. Can anyone hear Tsonga? I speak Tsonga in case you guys are wondering. Can anyone hear Tsonga? Can hear Tsonga, let me know in the comment section. If you're from SA, you should, or Mozambique somewhere, you should be able to hear 1 or 2 things Mwana says. I've resetted everything. Because resetted the word. Those who studied English, let me know. Hey, you know, from the village. All right. So let's start again with a different example. Let's say this thing was to open. I will do the same thing step by step for those who are patient. And you have to be patient if you are a trader. You have to be. Otherwise, you'll be scammed left and right because you're looking for shortcuts. You have to be very patient. Say it opens at 0 again, and then it decides this time to go to a low of, let's use a different number of 14. Let's say it goes to a low of 14, right? So obviously this is not how we'll see it, because at this current moment, again, it's at this low. So our current price will be the same as that of low. Then it will give us a proper candle. right? If it was to close here, it opened where? Here. Remember what I said about the body? The body is what? Is composed of your open and your close. So your open here, you can see it's 0, which is open there. And then your close, which in this case, it's our low at that current moment. Price is low. That is why I said the current here, and these two are the same in this case. The close, if it was to close here right now, it will be closing here on our low. Hence, these two values are the same. Make sense? That's why I said download the spreadsheet so that you can play around and see how these things are. So in this case, if you look at this one, there's no weak. There's no weak. This is straight strong sellers. Strong sellers. I misplaced my pen, so I have to write with a mouse. Sorry if, yeah, my handwriting is weird. Yeah. So this is strong sellers because here there's no weak. No weak. Right? Maybe you are confused as what do I mean by a week? A week is that let me just dial 0 again. Is this line again? There are candles that are like this, and I will explain later on how these ones form. But by the end of this lesson, you should be able to tell if a candlestick is a strong signal or not. Right? A week is this one. But this one that way, just that, does not have a weak. So it's a very strong, strong, strong signal. It's telling us that it's only sellers in this candle. So a week is just showing us that there were some opposing forces. Price was somewhere before it went somewhere. Here, there's no week, no opposing forces, straight to the point. There was no Vinde was here, graffiti. No, there's nothing like that. It's just a strong signal, right? Now, remember the question of the height? Let's go back to that one of the height. Where we're saying this is H, right? The entire height of this. How much is the body? How much is the wick? We need to look at that. You can see there's no wick here. So we're gonna have 0 wick. How much of the body? It will be 0 to 14. So we'll have 14 pips. So meaning that this is no wick. We don't even have to think twice. That's a very strong candle, strong sellers right there. The moment there's a wick, right? That is when we question the size of the body and the where is the body. It sounds like when you have killed someone, they're like, where is the body? Show us the body. Body. Right? The moment, I have to repeat this, the moment there is a wick plus the body, you start checking how big is the body and where is the body. And you check the same thing, how big is the wick and where is the wick located. The wick can be located in both sides of the body, right? Let me repeat that. Hey, it's going to be a mouthful. You'll have to watch this video over and over again. If the body is 0, now I'm using conditional statement. The body is 0 and we have a wick. That will be a straight rejection and also a strong signal. Even if the body is not 0, but the wick is 0, that will be a strong signal. Let me give you those scenarios. I used conditional statements here to say the body is equals to 0, right? Meaning that there's no body. There's no body. And then the wick is not 0. meaning there's a wick, then there's a rejection. Okay, the zero body was rejected. It's easy. The one that is zero failed to keep up. If the wick is zero, it failed to keep up. Fail. Let me show you quick example before you get lost. Just repeat, rewind. What do we have? We're using the same formula. Here, what do we have? The body is what? The body is not zero. Where's the wick? The wick is zero. The body wins. Who's occupying the body? The red guys, the sellers. The body wins. So it's a strong sell signal because the body is not zero. And then there are cases where, and in most cases, because this where the body is not zero and the wick is not zero. It's not a straightforward signal. It makes sense. That is what confuses a lot of people. But where we have body is equals to zero, wick is not zero, straight signal. Where the body is not equals to zero, wick is zero. These are the simplest signals to get. And then we have the ones where the body is not zero, the wick is not zero. Okay, let's start with the body being zero and the wick not being zero. Okay, so the body being zero will be, let's say, it's when price opens at the same point and it closes at the same point, but it have gone somewhere. So let's say this candle opened here and went down to be red. Before it closed, it went back up to the same area. This is what you get. I think if you have done candlesticks, this is called the dragon something. The name doesn't really matter as long as you're able to tell a story. So where did it open? It opened at zero and then it pushed down to create a low of 14. But before it could close, it went back up to close where it started. And there's no body. So what is happening there? The body is zero. There's no body. Fail. For whoever that had a body before, remember it was green. It was full red down there. But it went back up. That red disappeared. The body disappeared. So meaning that those sellers failed. And then we have what? A wick. What is the wick telling us? That the price was here. Price was down here. But what happened? It got rejected. It was here. Got rejected. So the wick here is not zero. So since the sellers failed, who is in control? The buyers. Ah, 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 ah. 130. If you can write 130 in the comment section, type it. 130. That means my sister's kid, my sister's child. Man, my mom's child. Let me drink water. Did you get that? Let me explain it again. You don't even have to sweat about it. You don't even have to use this spreadsheet. You can just look at a candle and say body, wick. That's your formula. And then you look at it and say, how much of a body do I see? By just looking at this, I don't see a body, it's just a line. So there's a zero body. How much is this one? Wick. And this wick is pointing here, down, and then we need to draw two lines. If it's pointing up like this, right? Let's say it was a candle like this. We'd first draw up. That's where the price was. And then it came back down. So since this one is pointing down, we draw this line down. That is where the body was before. Before it became zero, then it came back up to cancel the body. So the wick is there. It exists. It's not zero. This wick is how much? It's 14 in this case. 14 pips. So the one who gets a zero is a fail. Failed. Who failed? the body failed. Which body? The one that was here before. Let's dial it back. The one that was here before. Remember, it was red. This one. Eh? It first came down here, right? And then it went back up. Huh? Where was it? Down here is the body. It was not zero at that moment. Eh? You can see it's not zero at that moment. But just after it went back up to become zero. So who failed to keep up? That body that was red down here. This line is showing us that the body was red down here. And the opposite will be for, let's dial a zero here. And then the opposite will be for when we have a 14 as a high right here. Okay. Clear this. So if price was to open here and go up to that 14, that will be our current price before it goes back. So we'll have this as a full body. What is happening there? You use the same formula. How much of a wick do we have? Here, do you see a wick? No, it's just a full body. We have a 0 wick. And if we saw a wick, it would mean that it's an opposing force from what we are seeing here. Because here we are seeing buyers. If we saw a wick up here. But remember, body can have a wick here and there. But it doesn't change the story of that fact that a wick is a reject, a wick is a reject. That's why I said there is a special case where a wick is not zero and the body is not zero. But right now we're dealing with the ones where one is zero and the other one is not zero. Here, wick, zero. Body, not zero. So who occupies the body? The green guys. Okay, so it's a straight buy there. It's a strong signal. All right, makes sense? I hope now it makes sense. So let's move to a case whereby price maybe has a different shape, or where the wick is there and the body is there. Okay, so how will we then formulate that using this? Yes, this thing opened here. It went up to 40. Right? Let's say we change the current price. It decides now at this point, it drops down to 10. Let's drop it down to 10. So I'm gonna, it's not the low. The low will be this lowest point. Okay. So I'm gonna update my current, which is this. Okay. Because if it was to change now to 10, all right, you can see it dropped. So what do we have now? We have a case where we have a wick that is not zero, and we have a body that is not zero, right? We have a wick that is not zero and a body that is not zero. Remember what I said? Once we have these two, where a wick is not zero and the body is not zero, we start inspecting these and these based on these. Ooh, right? So if this is our H, let's call this maybe H1, then this will be our H2, height 1, height 2, to give us this overall height 3. So our formula H1 plus H2 will give us H3. Or sum of H's to give us whatever that we get there, right? So we're just summing up to get the overall. Now that we have this condition, it's no longer straightforward. That's where you check how big is the wick, how big is the body. So if I was to ask you, this is still green, but we have a bit of rejection, would you say that this is a strong buy signal? Nah. Is it a strong buy signal, this one? Based on the fact that the wick is smaller than the body. and the body is telling us that there's bias, would you say that this is a strong signal? How small? By just looking at it, you can see that the body is very huge, right? Compared to that. But there could be a case whereby there is a wick down here. Say this had gone to a -5 at some point, right? Let's say this had gone to a -5. We have a wick. We also have a wick. And we have a board. You might find that when you add this and add this, so you'll be saying wick plus wick. That will be giving you, let's say, wick with a 1 there on top, right? And then you compare this wick plus this wick. If from here to there it's 5, from 10 up to 15 it's 5, and then from here to here it's 5, right? So it's wick 5 plus 5. We're just adding the wicks together. So the wicks are giving us 10 pips. And then how much is the body? From here to there, from 5 to 10, it's 5. From 5 to 0, it's 5. So you can see that the body overall, this is also 10. Body is equals to 10. So is this a strong signal or not? If the wick and the body are equal. Is this you can tell, man, it's not a strong signal. Let's even stop right there. It's not. It's indecisive. That's why when you see these candles, they will say, no, it's an indecisive candle. But what's the theory behind it? By just using basic mathematics. Yes, these things are equals. This week, they say almost the same. Obviously, in real markets, you won't get these perfect examples, right? You won't get these textbook examples. But visually, when you look at a candle and you see a candle like this, you can tell that this is an indecisive candle or indecision candle, right? So it's not a strong signal for me to buy or to sell. It's not. It's not. It's really not. Right? Make sense? Should we reset this and get a different candle? I'm only looking at individual candles. We're not looking at a combination of candles. So maybe let's look at this one as well. It's fine. You can just play around with this spreadsheet. Right here, we have a low, which is -5. Again, you just look here to understand what is what, right? So this scale, what you dial here is going to reflect on this scale, right? So in case you are lost and you've been watching this for a very long time. So 10, it will be the current price. It means this thing is here right now at 10. But it was low at some point. It was here at -5. Where did it open? It opened here at 0. Okay. And remember what I said, the body is what? The date of birth minus the date of death. So the date of birth is 0. The date of death, the close or the current, is 10. So this is giving us the body. So you ask yourself now, how much, since we have a body and a wick, we have a wick plus a body. So how do you see if it's a strong candle? You start inspecting how big is the body with respect to the overall height of the candle and how big is the wick. I haven't spoken about where is the body. Remember I said that the where part of where the body is located, it's also very important as a signal, right? In this case, you can see the body right here, it's winning. It's bigger than what? It's bigger than the wick, and it's located on the higher side of the upper part of the wick. That is where the body is. It's a strong signal for buyers because buyers, their aim is to keep on pushing price high, and the body is located on the higher side of it. Okay, we could have seen a different case where now our let's just get rid of that. Let's keep this at 10. I just want to give you a different candle. where now our price is at, let's give it a 2.5. Our price is at the 2.5, right? You could see like the variation of candles is it's unlimited, but I'm just breaking it down to you. We still have the green, we still have the body, we still have the body, which is just 2.5. How do I know that? Yes, 0 is our open, and then the close, it's 2.5. So from 0 to here is just 2.5, right? Remember the body is what? Is there's two parameters, open and close, right? But we have our high. You can see all these figures are different. They don't have to be the same. That's where now you have a wick and a ntonton. Notice how we have a wick here. We have also have a wick there. Yes, there are buyers from the body, but how do we see if this is a strong buy or it's a weak buy? How do we see? How do we see? Let's start by inspecting the body. Let's start by inspecting the body. Where is the body? How do we see that? We can simply draw lines and do this and say height. Where is the body? Is it on the upper side? Because these are buyers. Is it on the upper side or is it on the lower side of the candles? Almost on the lower side of the candle, right? That is the where part. And then the how big. The where part, we've dealt with it. The how big part, we can see it's small with respect to the week. Very important. And when you're adding the week, you don't take this week and put it on the other side. No, this is showing us that there was a big rejection this side and there was also a big rejection this side. So where are we going? It might depend that the body is on the lower nyana part. I will show you just now. There's a big rejection here, meaning the buyers that were here, up here, up there. Let me just change that and show you. This was once a 10, right? The buyers that were up here got rejected a bit. They're still buyers, but they couldn't keep up. So they got rejected to this point, right? Mara, this doesn't mean that it's a sell because we still have these guys. Unless if this body was down here, then there was a big rejection on top. The fact that we have this rejection here and that rejection on top, it's still a bit of an indecisive candle. But if this was giving a negative, oops, I'm messing up my formulas. If it was giving us a negative, I keep on messing up my formulas. Let me just delete and just type negative 2.5. Sorry about that. If this was like this, you can see, Luwen, there's a big rejection showing us that the body was once up there, couldn't keep up, came all the way down. Let's just do that. The body was where? Before this, it was here, right? And then it dropped, came down to this. Let's say it closes on here. What is this telling us? There's a big rejection here. It's closing with sellers. There's just a small rejection from these sellers. So meaning that who got rejected more? These ones, the buyers, because the body was once there. Hey, how am I spelling buyers? Hey, what? I almost wrote the buyers. Hey, what? The buyers got rejected. So there's no need for you to even think twice. You can't use this as a signal to actually buy. And the fact that the body is red, yeah, it's just a straight up sell signal. But that's not the only thing. You need to check the location on the chart overall. We'll talk about it in the next lesson. Let me know if you'll be keen to see that. What will happen if now the current price was just 1,5 like this? Will this be a sell again? Look at where the wick, who got rejected. The wick shows us rejection. Still a big rejection here. Tiny rejection, almost the same as this. A bit indecisive, right? Just look at the wick. The wick is telling us who was in control just before the candle closed. I was here, or I was there, right? And sometimes you will find that, let's say it opened at -2, and then the current price is -4, just to show you a variation of this. Look at that. Again, we can use our formulas. Wick, check how big the wick is. If you have a wick in the body, that's where you have more parameters, right? The wick is not 0. The body is not 0. So we have a wick here. We have a big wick here, which is telling us that this thing was once up there. The buyers were once in control. Hence high. You see where the buyers are? This is where the buyers were. 10. They pushed up to 10. This is telling us that, right? For reference sake, you can also check here to say where were the buyers. They were there at 10, but they couldn't keep up because right now, at current, we are at -4. So they couldn't keep up because our current is -4. Eh? Our current is what? It's -4. So the buyers, yes, they went high. We opened at -2. We didn't stay there. We went high at some point, 10, but we couldn't keep up because right now our current is here. We also went low to -5. We couldn't stay there because right now we are here. So what is this telling us? First of all, the buyers failed, giving us a wick. Failed buyers. So what is this signal? Already the buyers failed miserably because this wick is big. Straight up, sell pin bar, depending on where it is. What if our current price was at 0? Okay. What if our current price was at 0? Still more or less the same, depending on where it is. It's still more or less the same. The only variation is that now, the only variation between the two, this is not as strong as the one that we just saw with the red body right there. This is telling us that yes, the buyers got rejected, right? It's a big rejection. They failed, but they are still there. A small portion of them is still showing, but they failed to maintain that 10 that they had. But it's still, because they're closing the session, we're having this green candle. They're closing the session. They are still there. The current there, they still managed to close green. But that doesn't mean that this is a buy signal. They still failed. It's a sell signal. It's just that it's not as strong as the one where we had a -4, okay, where it closed with sellers. This one. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, I hope it makes sense. Same as if this had opened at, let me just give you a last example before I shut this thing down. Same as if this had opened here, let's say at 6 and was currently at 8. Okay. Same as this one. Where did it open? At 6 here. At some point it was down here. All right. It was low to -5, meaning these buyers were very active. I mean sellers, sorry. Red for sellers. These sellers were very active. But the current price is at 8. And if it was to close there, that's why I named current and close the same. If it was to close there, it will close high, not down there, not on this side. It will close at 8. Okay. You can use that method of calculating the wick. And remember, the wick is telling us that This is pointing down and then it went back up. So it was a body, but couldn't keep up, went back up to cancel that body. But it shows that there was a body right there. The body is gone, cancelled. So it ended up there. This is a rejection. A wick is a rejection. So there's variation for sure. By now, you know how to read one candlestick. I've said a whole lot of things, maybe different examples or different approaches to reading a candle using those methods that I've shared in the video. Yeah. Okay. So this will be a very strong buy. All right. By just looking at it. Because of where the location of the body is, or you can just read this. The body is up there and there's a big rejection down here. So those people who are focusing on sell, 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 sell down here, they got rejected and the body ended up there. Up there. Okay. It could have been a different story where it opens at, let me just give you another variation. At 2 and its current price, it's at 4. Sorry, at 4. By just looking at it, what can you tell me? The body is in the middle. We have a wick on top and a wick down there. Is it a buy or sell? Indecisive. It could be a pause. It could be a change in direction. But we are not quite strong as to what this is. This lesson was very long. Let me shut it down. If you have watched up to this point and there's something that's not clear, do not hesitate to leave your comment or your question down here. I will do a follow-up video as soon as possible. Was it clear? This will work on any charts. This will work on any markets. Particularly if you trade a lot of synthetics, because there aren't news events that are going to affect your synthetic trading. So the technical approach works a lot better than when you're doing your Forex commodities, your normal indices and stocks and other markets, right? Because news won't affect this simulated markets. So I'd rather say focus on play with this spreadsheet, see if you can come up with your own approach. The whole point is for all of us to learn. There's no guru in this thing. Once you call yourself a guru, you have lost it in chat. That's that. I didn't look at a chart. Of course, in the next lesson, we'll be looking at a chart and using this as a signal to actually take a trade. Just take this as a lesson. Once you're good, we can focus on the live chart as well and taking trades, right? They're using the same approach. For sure, you should be able to read a strong signal and a weak signal. By just looking at it, there's no need for you to actually dial numbers. By just looking at it, you can see there's a weak there, there's a weak here, the body is in the middle, right? Our formula said that if body is not 0 and the wick is not 0, you calculate how much of a wick is there, how much of a body is there, right? In this case, the wick plus wick, they're on different sides, right? See, there's a wick here and there's a wick there on both sides and they are equal. It's what? Indecisive. Okay. That's number one. Let me give you a different scenario then. Let's say this current price right here, I'm gonna dial it down to something else. Let's dial it down to -5. Okay. Again, it's the same formula. Wick is not 0, body is not 0, but this is not an indecisive because wick is here and then body is here. So you check how much of a wick and how much of a body. If body is equal, you can say, I'm saying if a lot. Those who did programming or logic or whatever, you know, if those conditional statements, they will help you if you use them. If this, then this. That's how robots trading robots are coded anyway. There are conditions to say if this, then do this. If not, terminate or whatever, or keep on looking for other things. A loop, right? Loop it around. So you must have conditions as to if I see this, I'm gonna do this. If I don't see this, I might stay away, right? So if body is equals to weak, that's indecisive. It doesn't matter where the location of the body is. If body is equals to weak, like you've seen with the previous example, if body is equals to weak, or the weak on the other side and the weak on the other side are equals, and the body is in the middle, same thing. Okay? In this case, body is equals to weak. It's also an indecisive candle. With what? With sellers inside. But I wouldn't use this to say, yeah, the sellers are very strong. I wouldn't use this candle, because the size of the wick and the size of the body are equal. Unless if, and stay with me, unless if we had a -2 here as open. This, see this? Now it changes the whole formula. The wick is not zero. The body is not zero, right? But share, body is not equals to wick. So this is a clear signal. The body is not equals to wick. This is a clear signal for me. It's a clear sell signal. But the previous one here, the deal breaker was that if we do this, it was not saying body is equal. It was saying body is equals to wick. See? This. This is that example. This one that you're seeing. The body is equals to the wick. But we do have the wick and we do have the body. Then the moment you don't have the wick and it's only a body, it's a clear shandies. And the moment you just have a wick and there's no body, it's a clear signal. It's a clear rejection. It's a very strong rejection. Right? The issue comes when you have a wick and you have a body. Now you need to investigate further as to how big is the wick with respect to the body, and where is the location of the body with respect to the wick, or the other way around. Okay, play with the spreadsheet again. So if we were to change, maybe if we were to do a different, let me dial this to maybe to be a bit longer. Let's dial this to 15. So if we dial this to 15, you can see right here, let me do the open to be 0, so that, so you can see right here, still the same, right? The body is just, there's no wick down here, but there is a wick up here, right? Which is telling us that the high, which is this high here, 15, this couldn't keep up. That's why there's no body up here. Okay? There's no green body up here. But price have gone green at some point. It went 15 up, but there's no green body up here. So it came back down. It's a sell, strong sell, right? But it could have gone down a bit. It could have created a smaller low. Maybe it's a low of, let's say a low of, let's say a low of 7, maybe, right? A low of 7. You see, there's a wick there. And then there's a wick here. Eh? You don't add them together and put them on one side. No. This one is for this side. This one is for this side. It's two different things. This was sellers being rejected. This is buyers being rejected. But when we add them, when we're looking at the overall lines, we say week plus week. In this case, it's equals to 1 week. But we're not saying we'll take this one and add it on the other side. No, this week is for this low. This week is for this. This is telling us sellers were rejected because they had gone low to -7. They couldn't keep up. It went back to -5, which was our current. And then this one is telling us buyers were also rejected. They were at 15. They couldn't keep up. They couldn't stay up there. Right? So what is this? Buyers were rejected. This closed as gray, as red, we can still see sellers. There's a big rejection of buyers right there. And we can change this. It will still give us the same thing. You just look at this and say, okay, sharp. There's still this rejected bias, which is this high there, okay? Because the highest point here was 15, but we can't see price there at 15 right now. It went down to current, which is -5. So meaning these 15 guys who pushed couldn't keep up, they got rejected. That's why I said rejection. Did we just do this for an hour? Almost an hour. Yo? Okay, it's fine. So what if, again, variation, play around with the spreadsheet. I'm going to say this again. What if this was 2 current? Again, it's a big rejection there. This one is a small rejection. Again, this will be a sell, depending on, yeah, other conditions. It still be a sell signal, but it's not as strong as the one that we saw. It's not as strong as this, because this is closing here with the red with sellers. And as a sell signal, as an overall sell signal, it still has sellers. They're showing. Even this one, it's still a sell signal, but it has a bit of buyers. It's closed with buyers, but it's still a sell signal. How do we see that? Because there was a big rejection on the other side, on the bigger side. Okay. The body is located where? More on the lower side. But if this body comes to the middle here, then notice how this is gonna, the wick here and the wick here, they're gonna be the same. The wick up is gonna be equals to the wick down. So the wick down here and the wick up there, they're gonna be the same. And what will that do? It will make this an indecisive candle. We already looked at it. Hey, guys, let me go. I will see you again in the next lesson. Type your question down here, questions down here. And I hope this helps. Download this spreadsheet and the link, check the comment section, or rather check the pinned comment or the description box. Download Daishan DC. Can share it with your friends if you want. Otherwise, let's go. Sharp, sharp.